Faisal, the last video you did on death and dying was amazing. And I know it's such an enormous subject. And so I'd love to continue our conversation on that. And maybe starting with where views on death and dying conflict.
Yeah, it's really a huge subject. And it is sometimes very confusing for many people who want to study the subject or into it. Let's start with one basic fundamental fact that we have to level with as humanity, that death is a natural product in life. We die. Human beings die, animals die, trees die. It's a natural process. But we have become so scared of it. We have alienated it. In fact, I mean, the medical field is miraculous what we have, and the beauty and the richness of it is really awesome. But inherent in it is the attitude of wanting to defeat death. It's not just gaining health. Gaining health is really wonderful, but to some of the doctors, bless them, they are really like knights in shining armor, but they're going overboard because they're fighting death. They really want to defeat death, and that creates fear and alienation and all of those things that can perpetuate the fear of dying and what's it about, and makes it even difficult to live because we are always afraid of dying. I remember one of the most beautiful doctors I met, an older doctor. I met him recently. He's a head surgeon in the hospital and all of those things. Before I met the younger surgeons, and they were all ready to defeat death, do whatever it is, to defeat death. And he's about 84. He's as if he surrendered. He's juiced up, he's relaxed, he's full of life, full of sweetness, and all the things that seems to be scary. Even if I wanted to change medication, the others will be beating the drums about the end, this is the end. And he said, oh, change it, or drop it, And I feel his whole attitude was healing, was life-giving, was love-giving, while the others scared the living daylight out of me. Like, I'm gonna die, but I'm gonna die. This is unavoidable. And I remember the first time I met him after we talked and all of those things. He knows a little bit about who I am. And he looked at me sweetly, nicely. He said, we're gonna die. And I said, oh, thank you. At last, I need someone who is leveling with me with the fact of life, instead of feeling something weird gonna happen. I'm gonna die. He's gonna die. My whole attitude, with him shifted. So this kind of approach to death, and in some cultures, people don't even mention the word death because it's so horrible. Created the angel of death in our mind. Dark angel, horrifying, even like, I don't know, skeleton walking. I mean, you've seen the horrible images about the angel of death. And in my journey in the essential realm, I met many angels, many attributes of being. They can take on angelic form. I haven't met any angel as merciful as the angel of death. I met the angel of death, or the emanation of that. I will talk about it, the dark emptiness coming, and it was manifesting at that time in a form of an angel, dark, black angel, soothing, peaceful. And when I felt the emanation and got over the reaction, what is that angel coming? It felt he's made of divine mercy. Like sometimes we get old and sick and something, and this death comes as divine mercy to end the suffering. So it's not all the time horrible, you know. I mean, yes, in killing and wars, and it's really horrible, but that's not the death. That's what we do, you know, that make horrible. But the death itself is very benevolent.
That's such an interesting distinction, Faisal.
Yes, really, to see what we made of it and what the, you know,
What comes naturally.
naturally.
Mm-hmm.
So there are many beliefs, you know. The two major ones is that life ends and this is it. There is no continuity. We die and it finishes. And those are many people believe in that. They are nihilistic. They believe that the only life is the life of the body, and when we die, we end. This comes from so many fear, you know, like I don't know, material views, you know, existential views, material views, all of that thing. And but there are similar views, but in the spiritual domains, you know. The Taoists and shamans like Don Juan, who was teaching Carlos Castaneda and others, believe that the human being doesn't have what we call soul or an entity that can endure continuity through and after death.
Oh.
They believe that the human being, especially this sect of Taoists, they believe the human being is given a bundle of chi, a bundle of energy.
Right.
Yes. And that the human being has to work very hard. Discipline, meditation, you take this energy and condense it and do all kinds of things till you create an entity. And they call this entity the diamond body, a diamond entity. Entity, you took the chi energy and you compressed it. It's like you took the light and compressed it and made it diamonds. So it has consciousness, it has perception, it has everything we talk about of a soul. You know? So in this lifetime, by hard work, you cultivate your, like Don Juan saying, the double, or you cultivate the entity, you know, the diamond body, and then you become immortal. So in the moment of dying, you become this entity and the body dies, but you continue in whatever domains might open up for you. Otherwise, at the moment of dying, the bundle of life energy get absorbed in the pure being, in the absolute, in this giant electromagnetic field. You know, it's just like a bundle of drop of water goes in the ocean and get dissolved in the ocean, but there is no specific entity continuing. So some people believe there isn't in the first place, you know, and no, it'll never be developed. This is the materialist. But in the spiritual, they say, some people say, no, you don't have it, but you can cultivate it. And that's why spiritual work become a necessity. It is not, you know, religious or something. It is practical. You want to continue, you want to have life eternal, immortal, cultivate your diamond entity. This is on one hand. On the other hand, we have the general belief that most of humanity believe in, like in the lineage of the prophets, you know, that we have a soul, they call it a soul, and the soul enters the body and lives for a certain time. And when we die, this soul can go either to hell or to heaven, depending on the, you know, what the person has done in life.
Well, we had purgatory up until about 20 years ago, right? The last pope got rid of that.
It's done with it? Okay, so it's done. The Muslim believe that there is, the soul leaves, but it goes to maybe something like, I don't know, some kind of a bar, some kind of a place, and all the souls are there. The good souls are enjoying this period. The bad souls are suffering in this period. You know? And this period lasts till the end of time. And when the end of time comes, then the day of judgment comes, and the shift of the universe happens, and then all the souls are gathered. They even come out from the graves, and some will be ushered to heaven, and some will be ushered to hell. You know, so the Muslim believe everybody is kept, whether it's purgatory or whatever it is, that
Okay.
bardo, some kind of bardo. Tibetans believe there is no soul or self, but it is also very confusing. You know, they say that there is karma, and if you do something, you might have a lower birth or a higher birth. But who's going to have a lower birth or higher birth if there is no soul? You know, if it is just an aggregate of mind and psyche and body, then at the moment of death, it dissipates. They say, no, what remains is a stream of consciousness, and the stream of consciousness can be born, you know. And to me, that's a whole mess. I wish someday I could sit with some of those high Rinpoches and nail some questions, you know, like who's the Karmapa? Who's the Dalai Lama? How do you know this is Dalai Lama and not Karmapa? This must be a very unique entity, very unique being, you know, and that's what we call soul. That's what at least I call soul, right, or higher self, or an entity is very specific, you know, and that's the one that can incarnate, go from one lifetime to another, and it gets affected by its action. You know, good karma brings, you know, evolution and goodness. Bad karma brings trouble.
So Faisal, where do you see the difference between the consciousness and a soul, like the Tibetan view and then, let's say, the Muslim view?
Yeah, the stream of consciousness, I really don't know what it means. It could be that a collection of information stored in a star in the cosmos, right? Okay. And when the person dies, but that stream of consciousness will emanate into another person. Yeah?
Okay.
It has the information.
It's confusing.
Yes. And the point, or the soul, is a person, is you and me. You know? I see. And this person has a say in the matter. You know, I can affect my reincarnations. I can affect my, you know, who I'm gonna be born, where I'm gonna be born. You know, I remember one of the sweet old Rinpoches I met, you know, very delightful, very beautiful man. I loved him dearly, you know. Whenever I go to visit him, see him, first thing he does, he grabs my nose, you know, big nose. And I say, Rinpoche, you don't even have a nose. It's tiny little nose. So we have our joke about noses, you know. And then he grew old, you know, he became old. And the last time I went to see him, just looking at him, I couldn't but just cry, you know. And the others started crying because we knew he was leaving. He said, I cry for you. Don't cry for me because I know where I am going. You don't. You don't know what's going to happen to you when you die or you get all of those things. I know. And he said, till the next Buddha comes, the Maitreya comes, I planted all my reincarnations. Oh. As if there is, can you imagine? As if there's a rainbow. And he planted in time and space. Different times, different reincarnations, till the Buddha comes. You know?
Are you talking about Tarte Tuku?
Sorry? No, not that. No, this is older than Tarte Tuku. He's like more the level of
Organ?
Huh?
Organ?
Organ?
Who are you saying?
He's much older than Tarte Tuku. He's like His Holiness, one of the, you know, really the level of Dalai Lama, Karmapa, where Rinpoche, Tarte Tuku is more the level of Rinpoche, very high, very beautiful. But this one was very highly evolved being. then I think who plans that, you know? And when the Karmapa dies, he leaves a note saying, I am coming, you know, in 3 or 4 years, I'm going to be born here. This is a conscious act. It is not a recording of consciousness that coming to the being born in somebody else. This is somebody choosing, you know, when to be born, where to be born, you know, and make signs. They say when the Skarmapa, the new one, came, the day he was born, there were rainbows in the sky. And this, it was like clear sky, you know, and there were trumpets in the air, you know. Now, and there were no monks, nobody was there, just all of that. Now, if somebody can play with that, with the universe, make rainbows or sound or all those things, who is doing that? Is there somebody capable of interacting with the universe, with the absolute being, and making a rainbow and deciding when to enter a womb and where, you know, and to leave a note, where to find him? So there are all of those beliefs that some believe that there is no soul, some believe there is soul to be made, some believe that there is consciousness of knowledge continues, but like the person will not be there anymore. And some believe no, the person can incarnate and be here, you know, either by choice or by mixture of karma and grace. That this soul is influenced by a combination of, if there is negative karma overriding the grace, you know, good karma, then the soul will be born in a very bad place.
Oh.
And will have a very bad life. You know, the universe, the absolute, can gauge all the topography of time and space and cultures and houses and families, you know, and will take the soul according to the weight it has. Heavy karma will be taken to a very heavy place, you know, will be reincarnating in a terrible places. You know? And a good soul will be exalted and put in a good place. A Rinpoche will be born and recognized and put on a throne. You know, 2 years old will be put on a throne, venerated all his or her life. So the soul can cultivate merit, good karma or bad karma. And when we die, what we accumulated will make our destiny.
Mm-hmm.
It's not God deciding for us. You know, God is persecuting what we have written for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So doing good, being good is accumulating goodness, accumulating merit, you know, all the virtues that they talk about will upgrade the soul for a higher and higher reincarnation and evolution and continuity. Um, they also, like Tibetans say, those Rinpoches will be coming and going till all of humanity get enlightened. What does that mean? Does that mean all the humanity will be dissolving in the absolute and there is no self anymore? And there's just be an ocean of the absolute? Absolute doesn't need it. It could erase all of this drama out of existence, you know?
Yeah.
And so there must be something there in humanity that those Rinpoches coming to guide, coming to help. You know? And that's something I call soul or self. There must be a self, and this self in me is trying to make it, trying to understand, trying to evolve, all of those things. So those high beings come and go who walk the walk ahead of us and tell us, you know, this is the law of karma. If you do this, this comes. If you do that, that comes. You know, as the Christ said, whoever lives by the sword shall die by the sword. That's the law of karma. So the law of karma is applicable not only in this physical life, if we do something bad, we feel bad or something bad happened to us, but the soul itself, this entity, will be affected by the electromagnetic field of the universe, by the frequencies of the universe, and will gravitate it to the level it's in. If it is a frequency in the soul of love and joy, it will be gravitated to a reincarnation in a good family. And if the soul is very, very highly evolved, it will choose where to go. It will go to this family to continue its evolution and to heal its shortcomings.
Uh-huh.
So there could be a birth coming out of grace and abundance, or a birth coming like from really hellish, like a soul that has been so horrible. When I think about politicians in the world, it gives me dread to see what is waiting for them. What will happen. I don't want to mention names, but all what they've done to humanity and to the planet. Are they going to get away with it? No way. The universe will capture that soul and make it taste the horrible things it has done.
Throw it in the inferno.
Yes. And the inferno is full. The earth is right here, full of infernos. You don't have to wait for inferno. There are infernos in earth, there are infernos in the bardo, in the intermediary realm, and there is, of course, liberation in the absolute from all of that. But one important thing that I really want to emphasize again and again, my sense of being exasperation with the absolutist, again and again, teaching that there is no self, and you are just pure being. And if you die, there is only just pure being, and you'll be liberated and all of those things. And they completely negate the self, the soul. They don't want to admit it is there. I personally believe it is their hate for God, the absolutist hate for God, the uniqueness of every soul, of God within, God is within. Their beast hates it so much that it want to just make only the absolute here. But in the absolute are all those stars sparkling, are living, are percolating, and they come and go. And this soul is the one who feels pains and sorrows and joy and can be enlightened, can be illuminated, can be enlightened. The mind can be enlightened, be free from all these conceptual domains, and the self can be enlightened from all those self-images and narcissistic tendencies and all the clusters around it, and become awakened and enlightened and knows its position in existence, that we are the creators, we create, and that's our karma. So we better be walking a very beautiful life, full of love, full of consciousness, full of wisdom, and aspire to reach more of that. We need leaders in the world to tell us that we are life eternal and we're going to be here eternal. It's not just grab as much as you can from this lifetime and then what? What are you going to do with all this power and wealth? You're going to leave it and that's it? So for me, there is a being, a soul, a person. And the soul is not made of flesh. The soul is made of condensed light. And every aspect of these lights, let's say it's made of jewels. And it's precious being. And every jewel is a form of consciousness. It's a form of knowing. It's a form of sensitivity. And so this being is the most precious elements of love, or wisdom, or will, of activation. And this precious being can be trapped in the mind. That this immense mind, we can make stories and we can make matrices, and we can fall prey. This precious soul that's made of light and rest can lose its who it is, can forget even itself, and loses the way. And that's why so many high beings and prophets came to remind us of who we are, that we are souls, that there is reward and punishment or karma, or all of those things. But this precious being is susceptible to the influence of what we program the absolute with. The absolute is a giant. The universe is a giant machine, is a giant computer. All the universe that we see is a simulation. It's images in this magical computer, and it affects the soul. It's like children when they watch something terrifying, they get scared.
Yeah.
They don't have the differentiating wisdom to say, "Oh, this is just Mickey Mouse or something." They really affect them, even though they are points of light. But the point of light doesn't have the wisdom and the knowledge to know what is here. It is impressionable. This soul is very precious. And the soul lives alive, and if it's guided and if it is taken care of, it can evolve. It can, continue. And this soul continues after life. If we know that it continues after death, if we know that the soul is eternal, it continues after death, death doesn't become such a horrible thing. Death becomes a natural product of this body as a certain agent and lives off, but I continue. So I have to shift my identity. I have to move my identity from the body and from the self-image and look for my true identity. My identity that will remain even when my self-image goes away, even when my ego goes away, even when my body dissolves. There's somebody here. And most of us have been just not told that there is such a being. Most of us are identified with our ego and narcissistic images, belief, things like that. So we don't know about this precious being, and we get trapped in whatever belief systems we have. This being that continues after dying. Tibetans believe that this person goes through a particular stages. They call it
Bardo?
Bardo. Yeah. And Bardo is, they have 49 days, and 1 week you go through this, and 1 week you go through that, and 1 week, which is really remarkable to have this visions and this understanding. And when the person dies, they have their monk sitting with him or with her and guiding them through the Bardo. Now, who are they guiding? We come to the same dilemma, They negate it and they guide it, and it's very confusing for the spiritual teacher, for the spirit seekers. I say to you, there is a soul, and that's what they are addressing. And the soul, after dying, is going through all kind of things. So they believe that they can guide it, and it can reach enlightenment. As we said, the Christians believe this, and Muslims believe that. And they have different beliefs about the duration, how long and when and how. So that's also a big subject. What is what? My experience in that domain, whether for me or with others that I've contacted during dying or after they died, I always encounter their soul, this being of light. And I know that this being of light will be influenced by their karma and by the karmic field, they call it Bardo. We enter another realm, and this realm can be blissful or can be horrifying. But most of the time, the Bardo can be really scary. So in my experiences, when I contacted the souls that are in the process of dying or they died, I found them often as this entity point encased by a bubble. And this bubble is what we call personality or ego. It is the condensation of their issues in life. It surrounds this entity. And so this entity is looking at the vastness of the universe through the lens of through the kaleidoscope of the karma. Except,
which is exactly what we're doing in life.
and yes, except here we're doing it logically, you know, this
Okay.
and that, you know, while it's not logical. There it is more like, instead of seeing father coming angry at you, you see Mahakala or deity scary, you know, something horrendous coming at you, chasing you, you know,
Okay.
or you know, instead of feeling frequencies coming at you, you see snakes coming at you. It takes symbolic, it takes imaginative, you know, or you might hear screams, or you might, I mean, very horrifying. It is an image, not uh, conceptual. You know, it's images, it's forms, it's sound, it's colors. You know, that hits the conscious entity. So if the personality has thinned out, and what is left of it is blissful and good, the entity looks and see angelic entourage around it.
Oh.
And if not, it sees demonic, whatever, horrifying things around it. And from my experience, I stayed with some, like, and usually I stayed a day or two, and often they through the contact, telepathic contact, meditative contact, I could reach them, or the one who I am sitting with, like if somebody, their mother or father died, I don't know them, so I sit with the person, you know, with the son or daughter, and guide the person to guide their parent, you know. And with all of that, there was some form of benevolence intervention. Many of those souls were able to let go of this bubble and go to the light.
Okay.
Really enter the light. And it depends on different gradations. Some people enter just white light, golden light. Some people all the way enter the absolute, clear radiance of the void, and they're happy, you know, and still they had some karma to do, but they are awake and they are free to say, okay, yes, I goofed here, I messed up here, I need to correct it, I need to, you know, do something so to clean the karma, but they are not under the influence of it. They are not bound by it. Some of those also entities, like many like Christians, for example, the Christ or Mary or some of the high beings come to them, you know,
Yes.
and hold their hand and guide them. So it didn't follow the 49 days Bardo passage of the
Buddhist.
Buddhism. So I just want to like encourage those who are in that field, if they see it's different, follow the difference, because some of my, you know, friends and students, when their parents die, they sit 49 days reading the Bardo, you know, the Book of the Dead passage. But the Book of the Dead describes Tibetan entities, you know. I might not see Mahakala. Mahakala is like foreign to me, you know. I might see the angel of death, I might see the devil. That's, you know, that I
Or
know.
if you're 30, you may see Pokemon.
Yeah, Pokemon nowadays, exactly. They have a whole, you know. So the Bardo, the Western Bardo, is the collective of our unconscious. You know, if I go around Pokemon or around Walt Disney, that's what I'm going to see there. You know, the Bardo. I'm not going to see, you know, all of those wrathful deities. You know?
Well, emblazoned on your consciousness, you know, you play those games, or, you know, for hours and hours while your brain, your neurology is developing as a child, right?
Yes.
Those images are burned.
And when we leave the body, this whole information departs from the imprints in our body, psyche, and surround us. You know, so our Bardo is very Western. In fact, one of the wonderful teachers I met, you know, really incredible. I love him dearly. I haven't studied with him, but I received blessings and power from him. His name is E.J. Gold, and he wrote the American Book of the Dead. You know? The American is going to see Walt Disney. He's not going to see, you know, So what we see in the body when we die is what's in our unconscious. So American will see this, Chinese will see that, So it is really nothing but the collective and our unconscious. So death is a transition. The physical body dies. This entity continues, and this entity can, evolve, can liberate through death, after death, reincarnate, and it seems like they reincarnate, again and again, because it seems like this is I don't know, the name of the show of town. I don't know what they call it, the life, earth, evolution, that we signed up for it forever and ever. Evolution forever. And even if we get enlightened, we can go to those enlightened spaces, but we also come and go forever and ever. So the story about death and dying is different from one culture to another, one experience to another, and it doesn't have to be as horrible as we trying to make it. It's inevitable. It's really inevitable. It's like, I think I mentioned once in Morocco, when there are a lot of Sufis there. And when a Sufi dies, they have celebration that day. They call it its wedding day. So the soul of that person liberated from the body and from all of those things, now it joins the absolute.
Marrying the divine.
Yes, with the divine. So it's a wedding day. With celebration. But if a bad soul, they lament, they cry, because they know what is coming, what it's gonna face.
And the celebration includes Qawwali? Sufi?
More in Pakistan and all of this thing. But in Morocco, they have chanting and dancing and, things like that. And no, those women do these things. It's really a huge celebration, because that point reached the illumination, and they feel that point is showering their celebration of its liberation. Literally, you could feel that soul. Didn't just go. It's in the absolute. It's in abundance, and showering them with whatever blessings, love, guidance, granting them so many things, generosities, they call it, of that soul. So yes, it's good to see that there are so different beliefs, and that please be careful about those absolutists. One thing also important is that I take it as a limitation on my part, sometimes I try to reach somebody, who passed away, and I cannot find them. No matter what I do, I cannot find them. So I say, either I am not granted to find them, or I don't have the capacity. They are in a realm I haven't opened up to, because Bardo, there are many realms in it, Or is it possible that they don't have point of light? Is it possible that the human race is not all human?
Wow. Wow.
That remains a question for me. I really don't know, but I don't block, I just wonder. Some I really, I cannot really find where they are. And they usually are very good seer and all of those things, And sometimes I think suicide, I think maybe the person is somehow I'm not to see. Another point that's really important, because when I talk about this death and all of that thing, some people have great suffering in life. They're suffering a lot. And they think, if this is death, then I can go out and go to the light and maybe guided and all of this. They think suicide might get them out of the pain and the suffering.
Mhm.
from what my teachers told me, that when a person commits suicide, they'll come back 7 lifetimes in a state worse than the moment they committed suicide.
Oh dear.
7 lifetimes, the 7th lifetime, they reach the level of anguish and pain they committed suicide.
Oh dear.
So it's unimaginable the level of pain.
Is that a Tibetan teaching?
It's Tibetan teaching, 7 lifetimes. In my experience of seeing, a person committed suicide. At one time when I first joined, the work, school and all of that, I was told that this client, committed suicide. She was in the school. So my friend and me, we sat together and looking, and I'm a seer. He couldn't see, but I tell him what I was seeing, in order to see what we can do. And what I saw is that she was sitting in the couch and took a gun and shot herself in the head and left the body. So I was looking at her in the bardo, but she had like an umbilical cord to her body. She wasn't gone. The umbilical cord pulled her back in the body, and the shot again, and goes out and pulled back again and again and again in slow motion, feeling the bullet tearing the skin, cracking the bones, blasting the brain. Horror. I want to exaggerate it as much that don't mess up with life. Life is precious. Life is of utmost reverence and love and protection. Anybody who messes with it, the punishment or the karma is really severe. I remember praying for her 3 days and nights, to the divine, to being. I could go on the absolute and ask for divine mercy to come for her. My friend will pray with me, for her, and continuously, And after 3 days, being said, okay, we'll grant her the horror of this. And the message to me, don't you ever dare do that again. Somebody commits suicide, turn away.
Oh.
I cannot endure what they go through. So I put this message to those who are listening, please, death is only transition. Life is eternal and we are precious. You have a soul within you. Help it awaken, help it revive. Let the great awakening enlightenment doesn't erase it, it liberates it. It gives it the power, the consciousness to continue its evolution and to fulfill its destiny after destiny after destiny. So that's what some of the things about death and dying.
So beautiful. Thank you, Faisal.
Thank you.